guys, this is Michael Carter, and just wanted to show you a couple guitars that I'm out here dealing with on the road. And this one, if you can see it, because it's camouflage, so it might be blending in or invisible, is one that is actually the newest guitar I've got from PRS, and this is the first one that was custom made for me, so I'm pretty fired up about it. As you can see, it's obviously camouflage. We went into sort of a little partnership with Realtree and in PRS, and they were both fired up about it, and I think it turned out really cool. So what we did is basically take the idea with a custom 24, and we had them send the body down to Realtree in Atlanta, and they did their top secret magical dipping process where they just lower the guitar in, and I really have no idea how they do that, and it come out so well. But if you can tell, we had the option between like the shiny type deal or the matte finish. So we went with the matte, thinking that it might be better with the lights and stuff on stage, and of course it's not going to show up all the scratches and stuff as well. So the whole thing is matte finished, and once it was done, we sent it back to PRS, and then of course they installed electronics and stuff, and they actually did sourced out the safety orange, and we got them the Buck Commander logo. You guys probably at home have seen the show Duck Dynasty. Those guys are actually in kind of a separate deal as well with deer hunting called Buck Commander that Luke and Jason Aldean and a couple of baseball players and stuff that are heavily involved in. So we also use it within our show, and so we had that put on there, and my guitar tech, Mark Larice, and I've are also pretty big hunters, and since this was a 24, custom 24, we decided to name it the 24-06 after the 30-06. And if you're wondering whether or not we think that's pretty clever, we do. We're actually really proud of it. And the idea being that this is a really dangerous guitar, when in fact it poses no danger, so to speak, to the onlookers and the fans out there. But it's really fun to play. We do. I usually play this on this medley in the show. It's we call it the Hunting Medley. There's two songs where that we've kind of molded together from two different tracks from two different albums of Luke's, and they're both kind of the mid-tempo, swampy type rock songs, and one's in drop D, and the other one goes to kind of a drop C deal. So this is definitely the this is the point in time where really you're just trying to move a lot of air and scare children. So, but other than that, it's pretty nothing special, nothing fancy electronics wise. This is the same pickup setup and 5-way switch that comes on all the other custom 24s, and it's just pretty much straight flamethrower. So that's about all I know to tell you about this thing. We're just getting it broke in. So we got this last fall. Every year Luke does something called the Farm Tour around October, and we go around the South and basically just set up a rolling festival of sorts outside of college towns, and instead of playing the traditional venues like we're playing today, or the arenas or the big amphitheaters, we just go out on a big wide open field, set up a stage in the middle of a field, and we kind of, that's when we were going to implement this new medley, and we were shooting to get the guitar out by then, and it worked out perfect. So that was October. So we've had it a couple months now, and plus that was basically the end of our tour last year. So this is January and February. These past 2 months have been the first time we've really got to use it on a regular basis, because now we're doing that in the live show every night. Cool. So this guitar here if you can't tell, I'm from the South when I say this guitar here. This is the first guitar I got, or I actually purchased when I moved to Nashville in 2004. And I don't even know if he remembers, but I actually went to Guitar Center, bought this is a Custom Shop Telecaster, and was just getting in town, did not have any money whatsoever, and was trying to scrounge some idea of how I was going to pay for this thing. And was talking with my dad and stuff back home, and I thought I had something figured out. I go in there, and turns out the money had not quite got to the account yet. So I call Luke up, and he on the phone he transfers some money over to my account, and voila, I've got a Telecaster. So I did pay him back though, every dime, in case he happens to watch this. But this is so this guitar's got a lot of sentimental value to me, and it's also the only non-PRS that I have on the road, and that probably won't shock anybody. Being in a country act, I'm sure everybody knows the history of the Telecaster with country music, and it's still somewhat live and well, but a lot of the genre, and especially the music that we're out here doing, has gone towards more rock edge. So I really use this guitar mainly on some of the first and second album stuff that was actually done with a Tele, and does a little bit more of the cleaner type stuff. But I am proud of this guitar, and this thing still sounds great. Plug straight in, no effects, no anything, you just let it roar. And it has been through quite a lot. Having gotten this, back in 2004, when we were still in a van, and well, actually we were in a Suburban at first, pulling the U-Haul and unloading and loading everything, and doing the bars and stuff. So this has got a hell of a lot of memories on it, and you'll see the back. That's all this. What did you call it? Buckle rash. Buckle rash. Yeah, because I'm a pretty big fan of really neato hard rock belts that make me look tough. So I've ate up the back of this thing pretty good. This guitar also took a nosedive off of an 8 or 9 foot stage in Chicago. We were on tour with Kenny Chesney doing the summer 2007 tour. Of course, he was out doing stadiums, and we were the 4:30 act, and stagehand got a hold of it, and it just got away from him. So it went straight on down. So it's really lucky to be here. The way this thing kind of has morphed, it used to be the jack of all trades out of necessity. I only had one guitar at the time. I'm sure a lot of people out there started the exact same way I do, and are still that way, where you have to have one guitar do everything, because you probably can't afford another one, and I certainly could not. I could barely afford this one. And B, you just, when you're doing bars and clubs, it's not like you've got really high quality guitar techs such as Chad Weaver, who's off here in the background, and Mark Larice, who is my tech and is a great American, handing you guitars and working all the gear. And so I was kind of on my own, and just like living the American dream out there, trying to make the Tele play everything from little Bon Jovi to Merle Haggard. But yeah, I still love Bon Jovi. So anyway, this guitar is held true. It'll always stay out here with me. Like I said, I do. There's a song we do. That the guy in the studio actually did it with that lick for Rain Is a Good Thing on a B bender. So obviously this isn't a B bender, but that's about the closest really, really finger picking country thing that we're doing out here on the road with Luke's music. Everything else is more straight ahead rock, but there is still the occasion to do some stuff like that with the Tele and do the cleaner tones. So that's why we got it, and it's one of my favorites for sure.
All stock still? Or?
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think I've done anything that I've got out on the road is as is. We haven't done anything to the guitar. So
Selector switch on that one?
Yep, 3-way selector switch. This is the I don't know if y'all ever heard the steel guitar joke when the steel players have two necks, and you got the neck you play on, then they got the 10-day or the 2-week notice neck. That if you ever get on that, you got about 2 weeks before you're gonna be out of there. So the top, that's probably the 2-week notice pickup right there. Now everything's on doing all the bright stuff. So I'm looking to keep the job, but there's obviously a place and time, but I never use it anywhere else except in this position. So that's him. This is the Tele. This is the Swamp Ash Special. This is the very first guitar that PRS gave to me to try out on the road, and there's a lot of history with this because when I was introduced to PRS, it was 2007. We were on the first record, starting to open a tour for the very first time, and I don't even think that Luke had a top 10 yet. We probably were still, getting going with the first song. And point being, long story short, is I always thought of developing, hoping to develop relationships with companies, after you've garnered, some success, some notoriety maybe, or just an ability to have an audience. And they came to me very early and just said, "Hey, we get it. We like what everybody's doing out there. We like your guys' vibe, and we want to be a part of it." So they actually sent me online, and I'm looking through all the guitars, and they're kind of like, "Well, give us a wish list. 3 or 4 guitars. It looks like you'd like to get. We'll see what we can get for you." This was not on the wish list at all. I didn't even look at that guitar. I believe I was looking at a Grissom at the time, and so they sent it and a Custom 24, and the whole idea with those guys is, hey, if you don't like the guitar, don't feel bad about telling us that, because if you don't like it, you're probably not going to play it, and it'll sit there. So just send it back. So I'm sitting around waiting for a Grissom maybe to show up, and this shows up, and they say, well, we didn't have anything except for this at the factory, and this is what we had. Check it out, see if you like it, whatnot. And this has turned out to be probably my favorite, also the best sounding guitar and the most versatile guitar. The Swamp Ashes, and I'm pretty sure they have changed over the years, but this is even worn off. But I believe this was a 2006 model when they gave it to me, and they've since done some different things, I would imagine, pickup wise. But I use this both humbuckers, and I use the single coil on here. It can kind of get a little bit of that Fender sound, the Tele sound, but it still has a PRS flair to it. You're not going to mistake it for something else. They all have their own kind of deal. And this one, right now, I'm using tuned up a half step, because we've got a couple of songs that revolve around a open G chord, and the licks. That for a couple of singles, that's "Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye," and "Someone Else Calling You Baby." Two number ones that we do that call for that open G deal, and I use it on several other things. I always use this guitar in the studio. there's occasions where, although we don't, the live band doesn't play on Luke's records, there's occasions where we will go in and we will pre-track for award shows. And we will just simply recut a song, the band will, and we'll recut it with our own flair, with the intent of it being live. And I can take any number of guitars into that studio. And Luke's producer, Jeff Stevens, he'll let me go through all of them and tinker around, because I'm wanting to try this or try that. And then when he's ready to actually do something, he says, grab the Sunburst. And then that's what makes it. So I keep trying to buck the system and try, some new, different PRSs, but he likes that one. So, and I also use this one a lot, doing overdubs when I demo songs as a writer. And I'm producing a couple guys in town, so some of the tracks I played on, I use this guitar. There's something about it. The tone is big. It's full. It can clean up really well. In tonight's show, I'll use this on some of the up tempo stuff that I just played the intro licks for. Those are big rock some four on the floor stuff, and also I'll play it on his last single, which is a really, really acoustic driven ballad, and we'll do a big delay kind of atmospheric thing that's really, really clean. So this guitar does everything. And I was letting the guys grab it a minute ago, and what was our estimate at 9 pounds or so? I mean, this thing is really heavy, but it's tough to put into words. I've always been the kind of guy that, with guitars, with gear, with everything, is I'm really not concerned at all with the paper sheet on it. I don't want to know what pickups are in there and who's twisted them this way to Sunday, and Bill over here, he's the custom shop man, at this place in Nashville. I don't want to know any of that. I just want to grab the guitar, hold it, play it, plug it in, see if I like it. And that's the way I've landed on every guitar that I play live. And this guitar, absolutely ironic that I didn't ask for it, and it's become the go-to thing. And I've since gotten another one as well that I use on a different tuning, and it sounds great too, but there's just something about this one. And this is the jack of all trades for sure. It's got, so I believe I got it spring 2007 is when our relationship, PRS, started, and they sent me this one in a black Custom Shop 24, and I've still got that guitar as well. But a lot of memories on this. The neck of this one is like I said before, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Just no blood, no tears. Because Ozzy said no more tears. This is all, eat up from me, probably sweating on it really bad. I kind of inherited that from my dad, my hands sweat. The marks up here, these are, before I had the discussion before I had enough guitars to do different tunings, this is where the capo sat. And it was one that I guess had a bad tendency to leave marks or whatever, but I love that. To me, that reminds me of that point in time in life. So I kind of like the character that it leaves. But this is the Swamp Ash, and it is absolutely special. So out here on the road, I've also been fortunate enough to have a partnership with Black Star Amps, and I actually came into contact with them. We were on tour with Rascal Flatts, and I was looking at moving up, out of 212 combos, and Joe Don Rooney had a kind of a spare set up. He wasn't using it at the time, and I tried it out in the hallway and was kind of blown away by it. So we've been fortunate to be involved with them for the past few years, and I'm using their Series 1 200 head, and I've got 2 of them run in stereo, and we've got 1 out for a spare. So we have a true left and right, and they're each run to a 412 cabinet. So we've got 2 412s, and those are the mic'd ones. We've got a couple of, I just dropped that. We've got a couple of dummy cabinets up front, you know, kind of for the look. But I try and keep mine, the real ones are right behind it, because I like to feel the, kind of feel the air instead of actually listening or really hearing it. And the cabinets and all that are set up back in Guitar World. We're running a looping system, I think what's commonly called the Bradshaw rig, and I've got what's known as the slave controller out as my pedal board, where I can make all the changes, and my guitar tech has gotten the master. So, and I've been told that so I won't mess it up and actually reprogram it somehow in the middle of the show, which I don't think I could do if I tried, but I'm told that I could ruin it. So it's been great. That allows me to use a lot of the stage real estate. We've got a really try and pride ourselves on a high energy show. There's a lot of area to cover, and be able to go out and hit points and interact with the fans, and not be married to a pedal board and have to run back and hit everything. So that's worked really good. It's actually not a part of my amp system, but I've got a side fill on my side of the stage that has 2 18s in it, and all I'm running out of it is I get a little bit of kick drum, bass guitar, and the really, you know, some of the sub frequencies on my guitar. So I'm getting hit kind of from the side and from the back. And I know I probably shouldn't encourage this, but I play with 1 ear in and 1 ear out. I'm told that, you know, one day that's going to make cats and dogs live together, you know, and that I may die from it. But lo and behold, I'm alive and well. So I use, in an in-ear system, I'm using my left ear to hear, you know, click and vocals mainly, and a little bit of the other instruments. And I'm using the audible live aspect. Playing live, I don't like it to feel like a studio, and I don't want a perfect left and right studio mix. I still like the idea of being in a bar and you know, hearing the crowd, hearing what you're actually playing, and not wondering, you know, how does it really sound, you know, because all I'm hearing it through is, you know, one or two little drivers, you know, in my ears. So I'm kind of that guy that does that, but it's pretty good. It's a pretty cool setup. Slinging a lot of air. Both of the amps, like I said, they're Series 1 200s. They're actually able to dial all the way back to a 25 watt setting and all the way up to a 200 watt setting. So we generally run them somewhere around, I'm guessing, 150-ish.
Closer to 10 than 2.
Closer to 10, closer to 11. You know, I wish, I've asked if we can't paint 11 on there somewhere. But we run them pretty hot. I grew up on, you know, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, all of those guys, and I never sat in my room playing guitar thinking, you know, geez, I can't wait to get into a giant arena and play through a 15-watt combo. You know, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to play in an arena, you know, and do the Michael J. Fox on Back to the Future, you know, where he hits it and then it throws him through the wall. Which, I mean, I don't actually want to go through the wall. I'd like maybe if somebody else can go through the wall. But I like having the juice. It makes it really, really fun, and I'm fortunate to get to kind of have the freedom to set things up the way I'd like.
What effects are in your chain?
Effects-wise, I do a lot of, I'm mainly a stomp box guy. We've got one of the TC Electronics effects units. I do some delays, most all of my delays out of that, some tremolo. I've actually got a rack wah type deal. Of course, I've got the controller out with me, but everything else is stomp box. I use a lot of full tone stuff. really like what they do. I've just started using a power screamer from Homebrew Electronics. Very nice guys, and I actually just got that a couple weeks ago, and our other guitar player was really big on it, so I've just gotten that. But with the full tones, I use the full drive too. That's kind of the go-to overdrive. I've never gotten tired of it. I've got an OCD that I use on one of the songs, actually the medley song with the camo guitar, and it's kind of, you know, a little bit more of the metal distortion versus overdrive. I use electro harmonics. I use one of the POG pedals, the polyoctave generator, because there's actually one of the older songs, it's titled Countryman, that was tracked in the studio with a baritone guitar. And I don't carry a baritone out here with me because I'm kind of doubling playing. You know, I play the baritone part with the POG, and then I get off of that, and then the rest of the song I'm playing other, you know, a different guitar track. So I mean, if we in a studio world, you know, you do just one track of the baritone, then you put that down, and you do another track and do your rhythm pass. So I got the POG seems to be the best thing for that. For me, you have a lot of control. It doesn't kind of, I don't know what the word to say is, nerd out or kind of lose track of what you're doing in the really sub notes. It does track really well throughout all octaves, I believe. So I use it mainly on that song, and there's one other song. There's like a couple of, like a bar in there that it shoots in a little run, and that's about it. Just started using a tremolo. We got a few new songs that'll be coming out that require some different stuff, like a tremolo and maybe a different delay trick here or there. But it's pretty simple. I'm not at all a gearhead. I like simplicity. Even though the Bradshaw rig, when I first heard about that, I was like, God knows what are we going to do with that? Land a space shuttle, on stage. But what I say that, but once we got into it, it's pretty self-explanatory, and it's all just about getting getting things out of the way of your tone, so to speak, and not having unnecessary buffers, unnecessary signal loss. But in the end, it's still it's still the way I would go after things if I were in a bar. It's just made for a bigger stage now.
I don't remember the whole dive bomb part of that song.
Oh, you don't? You'll get a lot of it. You're gonna get a lot of. Hey, there was a write-up. I can't remember where. This before you came along, but there was a write-up in off of last year's tour in one of the major cities that did a review of the show, and it was a really good review. But it said the show was complete with this, that, and other production, and enough squealing dive bomb guitar licks to make Def Leppard happy. And I was like, yes, that's what we're looking for, right? I'm sure that's what Merle Haggard would want, squealing dive bomb guitars to make Def Leppard happy. But anyway, hey, at the end of this, maybe I should just go like, and that's the telly. And then, the swoosh thing or whatever. I'm just giving ideas, Of course, y'all know what you're doing.